If you're a landlord, there's one mistake that can cost you more than a bad tenant, more than an eviction, more than months of lost rent. And that's a fair housing violation. We're talking thousands in fines, legal battles, and in some cases, permanent damage to your reputation or even ability to rent. And the scary part? Most landlords don't even realize when they're making a mistake. So today, I'm going to break down the fair housing laws you need to know, common mistakes landlords make, what you can and cannot say, and how to protect yourself while still running your business effectively. Hello, I'm Gabi Vas, owner of Nex-Gen Real Estate and Property Management, helping landlords in Chicagoland navigate the rental space. In this video is a small preview of the kind of systems and structures I teach inside my course, because when it comes to fair housing, guessing is not a strategy. And if you don't have a system in place yet, I also put together a free tenant placement checklist that walks you through the entire screening process step by step, including how to stay compliant. Link is in the description, because tenant placement is one of the most important parts of staying profitable. So let's start with the basics. Fair housing laws are designed to prevent discrimination. At the federal level, there are protected classes like race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and familial status. But here's where a lot of landlords get caught off guard. It doesn't stop there. There are also state-level protections, and on top of that, you can find county-level or even city-level protected classes. Depending on where your property is, you might also be dealing with protections like source of income, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, criminal history considerations, and so on. And here's the key. You are responsible for knowing all of them, not just federal, all of them. Because I don't know or I didn't know is not a defense. So let's talk about the risk. A large percent of fair housing complaints come from rental housing. This is where most violations happen. Why? Because landlords are consistently advertising, communicating, screening, and every one of those steps is an opportunity to make a mistake. And yes, there are people out there actively looking for those mistakes. There are professional testers, sometimes called fair housing testers, or even secret shoppers. If you're a licensed real estate professional, you are even more exposed because you can be tested without even realizing it. And there are also individuals who understand the system very well and will push boundaries, ask strategic questions, and look for inconsistencies. So you need to stay sharp, and more importantly, you need to stay consistent. Quick rule: if you are not 100% sure about something, do not answer on the spot. It is completely acceptable to say, "Let me double check and get back to you." That one single sentence alone can protect you from making a costly mistake. Now, let's talk about what you can and cannot ask, because this is where things get very real. Let's start with familial status. You cannot ask how many kids do you have, but you can ask how many occupants will be living in the unit. See the difference? One is personal and one is directly related to occupancy. Next, disability. You cannot ask, do you have any disabilities? Or what is your condition? But you can ask, do you have any specific requirements for the property? You're focusing on the property, not the person. Next, for example, religion. You cannot ask, what religion are you? Or do you attend church? There is no version of that question that is acceptable. It simply does not apply to your property. Next would be the national origin. You cannot ask, where are you from? Or are you a US citizen? But you can verify identity and documentation as part of a consistent application process. Consistency is everything. That's the theme you need to remember. Consistency protects you. Now let's talk about something more subtle, your language and tone. Even if your intentions are good, the way you say something can still create risk. For example, this is a quiet building, mostly older residents. That can be interpreted as discouraging certain groups. Instead, focus on the objective property facts. Let's talk about the exemptions. There are certain limited situations where fair housing laws may not fully apply. For example, owner-occupied properties with a small amount of units, certain single-family rentals without a broker. But here's my advice. Do not rely on exemptions unless you fully understand them, because misapplying an exemption can put you in an even worse position. So unless you're 100% certain, operate as if full fair housing laws apply. Now let's bring this back to your process. Every step needs to be objective, documented, and consistent. That includes your listing, your communication, your screening criteria, and your decision making. If one applicant gets one standard, everyone gets that same standard. No exceptions. Because exceptions create liability. Most landlords don't get into trouble because they're trying to discriminate. They get into trouble because they don't know the rules, speak casually, or make decisions based on emotion. And that's exactly what we're avoiding here. And that is why I built my tenant placement checklist, because it gives you a structured system so you don't have to guess. It walks you through every step, from screening to communication, that keeps you compliant and protective. Now let's wrap this up. Fair housing is not optional, it's not flexible, and it's not something you want to learn the hard way. The cost of getting it wrong is just too high. So your job as a landlord is simple. Know the rules, stay consistent, and when in doubt, pause and verify. Because one wrong question, one wrong statement, or one inconsistent decision can cost you far more than a bad tenant ever will. If you're serious about protecting your investment, start with a checklist. It's the same system I use with my clients, and it will help you avoid very expensive mistakes. And if you're in Chicagoland area, you want a team that take compliance, tenant placement, and protection seriously, we're here to help. Because at the end of the day, the right system protects you, the wrong approach exposes you. And fair housing is one area where you don't want to take chances. Thanks for watching, and as always, where's your future?